Hello, one and all. Welcome to another episode of MMA Vision Analysis. This one, I'm here to talk about Alexander Volkanovski's recent comments on the upcoming title bout in the middleweight division, the fight that's going to put together current middleweight champion Dricus against former middleweight champion Israel Adesanya, the last style bender. I'm going to go into what Volkanovski think about Israel Adesanya heading into this fight and why he thinks that Dricus is in some deep trouble if Adesanya shows up the Izzy that we know him. But before getting started, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification to get all of this that is new from this channel, your channel, the one and only MMA Vision Analysis. I believe it's August 17th, UFC 305. Perth, Australia is going to bring us one of the biggest fights of the year, I think. The long-anticipated title fight for Israel Adesanya. Last time around, we saw Izzy was against Strickland. That was the night that he actually lost the title to Strickland. 5-round fight. Izzy was behind Strickland the entirety of the time. Strickland forced Israel Adesanya backwards the entirety of the time. I think there's multiple reasons why Izzy looked the way he did against Sean Strickland when they fought and he lost his title. Obviously, Izzy was on the back foot the entirety of the time. By definition, that means that Sean Strickland was able to control the center of the octagon the entire time. Now, recently, I did see that Israel Adesanya has gained a significant amount of weight, and really that kind of makes sense, because if you want to control the center of the octagon, then you would have to have some size on you in order for you to push the opposition backwards. So in that regard, that's definitely going to be the case. I did question Israel Adesanya's movement. How is that going to affect his movement heading into the fight against Dricus? Alexander Volkanovski has chimed in, and he thinks that Israel Adesanya is going to show up, the Adesanya that showed up against Paulo Costa. Well, most certainly, if that Izzy shows up. But I don't know how we can compare Costa to Dricus, in all honesty. Two different fighters. Dricus obviously has earned the title at this point. He's the champion of the middleweight division. So I think the comparison's a bit off. But I think he's comparing Adesanya to that Adesanya, the guy that faced, obviously, and defeated Paulo Costa. Made Costa look ridiculous, and really ever since, Costa's career has not been the same. So, long story short, if Adesanya gains the right kind of muscle mass to be able to control center of the octagon against Dricus and still has the, let's say, reflexes and speed, then yes, just like Alexander Volkanovski is saying, then Dricus will be in for a very difficult night, especially if Adesanya is picking his shots, quicker to the punch, and just faster, quicker, and perhaps at the same time bigger than the Adesanya that we're kind of used to. I mean, who knows, but obviously the teammate of Izzy is perhaps going to be one of the closest people to Adesanya at this current time, closer to than him to the fans for certain, and he probably sees something in Adesanya that he hasn't seen in the few months or years, let's say few months past, especially leading up to the fight against Sean Strickland, and he's drawing his conclusions based off that. He probably sees the spark in Adesanya once again. And if we are talking about the Adesanya that faced Paulo Costa, that is peak performance in terms of martial arts, period. If you made it this far, I appreciate you for sticking around. Please let me know what you think in the comments and like, subscribe for more.